Billionaire's assistant caught him weeping at 3 a.m. The bizarre truth will haunt you forever. The clock struck 3 a.m., its harsh chime echoing through the cavernous halls of the penthouse suite. The city below glowed like an unruly sea of stars, but inside, a heavy silence hung like thick fog. Wealth dripped from every corner, gold accents glimmered mockingly in the dim light, but the true spectacle was the billionaire himself. Robert Sinclair, the infamous tycoon, an empire builder known for his ruthless business maneuvers, was found hunched over, his shoulders shaking, sobs escaping his lips like a trapped bird. What could possibly break a man like him? A man who seemed invincible, who literally rewrote the rules of game? But there it was, his anguish painted in stark desperation that sliced through the opulence surrounding him. Lights flickered, casting shadows that danced on the walls like lost spirits mourning their fate. Each ragged breath he took was a raw reminder of vulnerability. His assistant, a curious young woman named Mia, stumbled upon this shocking scene, her heart racing. Was she about to witness a breaking point? She crept closer, her steps quiet as whispers, each one a step toward unfathomable secrets that could unravel everything she thought she knew about her boss. A strange tension filled the room. The air felt electric, as if something unspeakable hung just out of sight, lurking. Mia's throat tightened, her mind spinning with questions. Why was he crying? And more disturbingly, what haunted him so deeply at this hour of darkness? She had seen him cut deals, smile over champagne glasses, charm investors, but this? This was a different man entirely, trapped in a moment of unguarded despair. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as she stood frozen in disbelief, ready to rush in and comfort him, the door suddenly swung open. A figure brushed past her, a shadowy silhouette that seemed to slip through the air like a ghost. Conversation swirled around in fragmented whispers, something sinister brewing just behind the golden gates of Robert's world. Mia's gut twisted. Who was this stranger, and what power did they hold over the man who ruled millions? Her heart pounded in her chest. The mystery thickened like fog rolling in at dawn. She had to uncover the truth. Would she dare to confront it? Would she risk everything to pull back the curtain shielding her boss's hidden agony? The night was still young, and secrets had a way of clawing their way to the surface. Mia's instincts kicked in. She had to know who this intruder was. In a matter of seconds she shifted from observer to participant, a quiet determination igniting her steps. Heart pounding like a war drum, she slipped through the crack in the door just in time to see the figure's back retreating down the opulent hall. Stifled voices filtered through the air like poisoned honey, sweet yet dangerous, and she strained to catch every word. You can't keep hiding this, Robert. It's only going to get worse, the stranger's voice hissed, a cold edge slicing through the air. Mia edged around the corner, pressing herself against the wall. She peered into the room where Robert sat, his face pale and streaked with unrelenting grief. The stranger, dressed in tailored black and exuding an aura of menace, stood over him, casting a long shadow. She couldn't glean the face, but the tension between them was palpable, an old animosity reeking of betrayal. Do you think money can solve everything? The intruder continued, leaning closer. That you can just pay it all away? You're a fool to think that, Sinclair. Robert flinched, pushing back as if stricken. I did what I had to do. It was for my family. Family? The word echoed in Mia's mind, a dagger twisting in her gut. What family? She had only heard whispers about Robert's past, a tragic accident, a lost child, a wife whose name vanished like vapor. You'll regret it, mark my words, the stranger spat, voice low and venomous, before turning sharply on his heel and disappearing down the corridor. The moment the door clicked shut behind him, tension seeped from the walls, leaving only dread in its wake. Mia rushed into the room, the silence heavy with unspoken truths. Robert looked up, his bloodshot eyes meeting hers. The mask of the powerful businessman crumpled entirely as his vulnerability reemerged, raw and jagged. "Mia," he breathed, and in that moment she saw the man behind the empire. "You shouldn't be here." "What was that about?" she pressed, her voice trembling. "Who was he?" Robert hesitated, the weight of his secrets heavy in the air. "You don't want to get involved," he warned, anguish hovering around his words, but Mia wasn't backing down. "You're hurting, Robert. Please let me help." He dropped his gaze, and a flicker of something remorse, crossed his features. "Some truths are better left buried. I can't involve you in this." As she stood there, the gravity of the moment tightened around her chest. She felt the walls close in, an unknown future stretching before her, filled with darkness and danger. But a fire ignited within her. She had seen enough to know that what lay beneath the surface was not just his burden alone. "Your past is clawing back, Robert," she said, her tone fierce. "Whatever or whoever that was, you can't face it alone." His eyes widened, realizing she wouldn't let this go. "Mia, there's so much more at stake than you understand," and in the deep recesses of that lavish penthouse, the air thickened again, charged with unsaid words and the promise of disaster looming just ahead. Before she could respond, Robert's phone buzzed violently on the marble tabletop. He glanced at the screen, his face draining of color. "It's him," he whispered, the dread curling his fingers into tight fists. What was about to unfold? The room felt electric, a prelude to chaos. A secret uncoiled, waiting to strike. Mia took a deep breath, realizing she had just stepped onto a path she couldn't escape. What would she uncover? And more importantly, would she survive the pull of Robert Sinclair's haunted history? Mia's heart raced as she watched Robert's knuckles whiten around the phone. The world around them faded, the elegant decor of the penthouse becoming a distant blur. The tension coiled tighter in her chest, suffocating her. "Who is it?" she asked, barely a whisper. Robert's lips moved, but no words came out. He stared at the screen, his breathing shallow, each inhale fraught with despair. It was as if everything, the opulence, the lush curtains, the sparkling chandelier, had become a mere backdrop to his turmoil. With shaking hands, he finally swiped to answer. "Hello?" His voice was barely audible, and yet it carried the weight of the world. Mia leaned closer, straining to hear the ominous voice on the other end. "Mere words won't suffice, Sinclair. I expect you to fulfill your part of the deal, and quickly," rasped the voice, sharp and jarring. "You have until midnight." Robert stiffened. "I can't, not after what happened." Mia felt a chill creep up her spine. "What's going on, Robert?" she demanded, the urgency of the moment flooding her with adrenaline. "What deal?" He ended the call abruptly, shoving the phone away as if it burned him. "It's nothing you need to worry about." But his eyes were wild, darting around the room as if trying to evade invisible foes. "Nothing?" she shot back. "That was anything but nothing. You're in danger." He raked a hand through his hair, his breath turning ragged. Mia, before he could finish, the door burst open, and a man stepped through, broad-shouldered, dressed in sleek black, exuding an ominous presence. The same man from earlier, the intruder. "Your time is up, Sinclair," he announced, a twisted smirk curling on his lips. "You've reached the end of the line." Mia's skin prickled. She stood frozen, every instinct screaming at her to run, but her feet were rooted. Robert had gone pale, but his eyes burned with a newfound determination. "Get out," he demanded, voice low but steady. "This is between us." "Is it?" The man laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. "You seem to forget the stakes, Robert. There's far more at risk than just your skin in this game." Mia stepped forward, her heart hammering like a drum. "What do you want from him?" The stranger turned his gaze toward her, eyes narrowing. "Ah, the little assistant who's gotten too curious for her own good." "Who are you?" she demanded, the fear she felt trying to break through her resolve. "Just a friendly reminder of what happens to those who break their promises," he said, tilting his head slightly. "And to those who interfere." Robert moved protectively in front of Mia, an unexpected surge of defiance in his demeanor. "Leave her out of this," he said, his voice cracking with equal parts fear and anger. "Why would I? She's woven into the very fabric of your downfall. You don't realize, do you?" The stranger's voice dripped with sarcasm. "You were never alone in this mess. She's now part of the collateral damage." Mia's pulse raced. Collateral damage? The words echoed ominously in her mind, projecting images of danger she wasn't prepared for. "What's that supposed to mean?" Mia demanded, a dark chill slithering down her spine. Robert turned slowly to her, terror flashing in his eyes. "Mia, you have to leave, right now. You don't understand." But it was too late. The intruder took a step forward, closing the distance, his smile wide and smirking. The air was thick with tension, as all the fragments collided, revealing a thread of truth still hidden beneath the lies. Mia felt trapped in a web she could neither see nor escape. Time was running thin, and with each passing second, the clock ticked down toward an inevitable confrontation. What deal had Robert entered into? What had Mia unknowingly stumbled into? As the shadows of the room twisted ominously, she realized the answers that chased them could unravel everything, and perhaps even seal her fate. Mia took a step back, fear crystallizing in her throat. With each heartbeat, she understood that the real danger was just beginning. Mia barely had time to comprehend the gravity of the situation when the intruder lunged toward them. The air crackled with tension as Robert shoved Mia behind him, his body a shield against the encroaching threat. "Back off!" Robert shouted, his voice breaking the suffocating silence. The urgency in his tone reverberated in Mia's chest, a frantic reminder that they were in deep danger. The intruder stepped closer, unfazed. "Make your final choice, Sinclair. This isn't merely about you anymore. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice to secure your deals." His voice dripped with an unsettling finality. Mia's heart hammered harder, each beat echoing in her ears. The words twisted like a knife in her gut. "Sacrifice?" She darted her eyes between the two men, desperate for answers. "Have you lost your mind? What kind of deal could come at this price?" "Mia, please, just go," Robert urged again, his voice trembling. But his eyes bore a fierce intensity, like a storm brewing. She could see the churning conflict within him, a man trapped by his own choices, a prisoner of his past. But Mia refused to retreat. "I'm not leaving you. Whatever this deal is, we can face it together." The intruder threw back his head and laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers through Mia. "Together? You think they'll let you both walk away from this? The clock is ticking, Sinclair." With a quick motion, Robert reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope, its edges worn and frayed, as if it had been through hell. "This is it," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "It was never supposed to involve you, never meant for you to get dragged into this." Mia's brow furrowed as she took a cautious step forward, her eyes darting between the envelope and Robert's anguished expression. "What is that? What's inside?" "You need to understand," Robert said, urgency thickening his words. "I made a bargain with people I shouldn't have touched. I thought I could protect you. I thought I could keep you safe." The guilt was raw, laying bare his vulnerability like a fresh wound. "But now it's not just me at stake." The intruder rolled his eyes, irritated by what he perceived as unnecessary theatrics. "It's simple, Sinclair. Fulfill your end by midnight, or watch everything unravel starting with her." Mia recoiled but held her ground. "You don't scare me," she asserted, surprising even herself. But deep down, her voice quivered. She couldn't ignore the rising fear clenching her insides. "Oh, but you should be terrified," the intruder said, a smirk tugging at the corners of his lips. "You have no idea what lies underneath his charming facade." "Shut up," Robert snapped. "You don't know anything about her." "Then prove me wrong," the intruder taunted, leaning back as if savoring the chaos unfolding around him. Fury ignited in Robert's eyes. "I'll do it whatever it takes. I'll find a way out of this." But Mia took a sudden inhale, her mind racing with horrifying possibilities. "The envelope. What's in it, Robert?" Tell me. She pressed, a sense of urgency driving her words. Robert hesitated, his jaw tightening. Mia, it's the intrusion of silence thickened around them, and the intruder leaned in even closer, the air growing heavier. Time is running out, Robert. Are you ready to sacrifice what is truly important? Her heart sank. The man wasn't merely threatening Robert. He was offering a choice, a twisted ultimatum laced with dire consequences for them both. Mia felt her stomach churn as dread swelled into a tidal wave. What kind of sacrifice? Robert, what are we dealing with? Robert's eyes flickered to the clock on the wall, its ticking heartbeats echoing their impending doom. You need to trust me. I've made mistakes, but this will end tonight, one way or another. Tension crackled in the air, and Mia could feel the walls closing in on them. Outside, the city danced with its bright lights, oblivious to the horrors unfolding inside. Midnight is almost here, the intruder hissed, his voice silken yet throaty with malice. Are you ready to take the leap? Or will you lose it all? Mia's breath caught in her throat as her mind raced to piece together what was at stake. Robert was slipping. The weight of the envelope between them felt heavier by the second, a symbol of the choices that would define them. Could she help him? Could she save them both? Each heartbeat closer to midnight felt like a countdown to chaos, a final choice that would intertwine their fates forever. And as the shadows loomed, she realized the decision would weigh heavily upon her soul. One wrong move and everything could shatter. Mia took a deep breath, locked eyes with the intruder, and prepared to make the choice that would change everything. But could she face what lay ahead? Robert's grip tightened on the envelope, as if it were a lifeline. He faced the intruder, and for a fleeting moment, Mia saw a flicker of determination in his eyes. But that resolve was as fragile as glass, ready to shatter under pressure. Just tell me what it is, Mia demanded, her voice cutting through the thick tension like a knife. We can't waste time. Whatever it is, we can figure it out together. The intruder chuckled darkly. Always so naive, girl. The truth is never that simple, and your lover here knows it. Robert's jaw clenched. Stop calling her that. You have no idea what you're dealing with. We all have our secrets, Sinclair, the intruder replied, his smile eerie against the dim light. Some have the power to destroy everything you love. And I'm here to collect. The clock chimed, echoing through the room like an ominous warning. Each toll sent a fresh wave of panic crashing over Mia. Stop it! She shouted, her voice rising. What do you want? What do we need to do to end this nightmare? With a casual flick, the intruder gestured towards the envelope. Inside lies your answer. But it's no fairy tale, pretty lady. You'll either make a deal or watch everything crumble. You can bet your life on that. Mia glanced at Robert, searching for any sign of hope. What does it mean, Robert? What does he want? Robert's eyes darted to the envelope, then back to Mia, desperation etched across his face. It's not about what he wants. It's about what I've done. I stopped stalling. The intruder growled, stepping closer. The darkness in his eyes flickered, a predator ready to pounce. Time waits for no one, Sinclair. Suddenly, everything felt like quicksand. The air thickened, and Mia's chest tightened. She had a sinking feeling that whatever lingered within that envelope was far more dangerous than she could grasp. What do we do? She whispered, her voice small. Robert opened his mouth but hesitated, and that hesitation twisted her gut. Trust me, he finally said, but doubt crept into his eyes. What if trusting you is the worst decision I could make? Mia replied, her voice trembling. She felt the entire world teetering on the edge of oblivion. Enough! The intruder shouted, breaking the fragile moment. It's time for your answer. I won't give you the luxury of a second guess. Don't! Robert shouted, suddenly more animated. Mia, you don't have to. It's happening! The intruder interrupted, leaning in closer, his breath a whisper against her skin. You either take the plunge or watch everything you both care about vanish. With every heartbeat, the weight of the envelope seemed grave. Mia could almost hear it whispering dark promises, each flutter of paper a reminder of what was at stake. Together she repeated, almost to reassure herself. But did she truly believe it? The intruder leaned back, his smirk resurfacing. Time's running out, and the night is far from over. You'll either seize control or embrace the chaos that follows. Mia felt tears prick the corners of her eyes, more out of anger than fear. Why are you doing this? Who are you? The smirk morphed into a scowl. I'm the reckoning. You'll see. And once the clock strikes, everything will change. The shadows of the room danced malevolently, and as the final click of the clock echoed through the silence, Mia's heart thundered like a drum. Sudden understanding washed over her. This was bigger than them. A gut-wrenching choice lay ahead. Could the very thing intended to protect them also be the weapon that tore them apart? Suddenly, the lights flickered ominously, and the intruder chuckled. You have one last chance to reconsider your loyalty, Sinclair. But if you fail to act, it won't just be your lives at stake, it's much worse. The room closed in around them. Mia felt the walls pressing closer and the ground tremble beneath her feet. What could they lose and what were they truly willing to sacrifice? As Robert inhaled sharply, Mia's resolve hardened. But she wasn't sure if stepping into the abyss would save them, or doom them forever. What choice would she make as the seconds blinked away? And, in that moment, a horrifying specter of doubt danced at the edges of her mind. Who truly held the power in this twisted game? The intruder's laugh echoed like a death knell, filling the charged air with a dreadful sense of expectation. Mia stared at Robert, her heart racing, pulse quickening. One mistake could cost them everything. Mia, Robert said, his voice strained. You can't trust him. But doubt lingered in his eyes, dark and stormy. Trust is overrated, the intruder quipped, stepping back as if granting them a moment a cruel gift. But don't take too long. The choice is yours. The clock. He paused dramatically, gesturing toward the clock that now echoed ominously. It's ticking. Every second is a decision. Mia felt the tension gnaw at her insides. The envelope lay on the table, a silent menace, waiting. What happens if we don't act? Mia asked a question that twisted like a knife in her gut. Chaos, destruction, and the unmasking of your deepest fears, the intruder answered, his eyes shimmering with malice. Choose wisely, or it will all unravel. The image of everything they had, her job, Robert, the life they had built, vanished in her mind like shadows in the dark. Her breath quickened. Why does it have to be this way? She screamed, frustration boiling over. What kind of monster are you? Just a messenger, he replied with a feigned sweetness. Mediating the consequences of actions. It's Robert who is the true architect of his own nightmare. Mia turned back to Robert, searching for reassurance, but instead saw turmoil. He was wrestling demons all his own, each one more massive than the last. You don't understand how frightening this could be, Mia, he murmured, looking defeated. No one does, she shot back, her voice leveling in defiance. You have to trust me, Robert. Whatever it is, we can face it together. But we need to know. The intruder smiled wider, a Cheshire cat in a horror story. Together? Such a charming notion. But this is not a romance novella. You have to make a choice. The envelope, or your lives. It's simple. Mia's heart sunk. The finality of his words loomed over them like a thundercloud. She felt trapped between despair and the unknown, unsure of where their choices would lead. What have you done? She whispered to Robert, the question hanging heavy in the air. He hesitated, the silence stretching unbearably, until he finally said, I made a mistake, a terrible one, and this is the fallout. What kind of mistake? What have you done that could lead to this? The intruder's laughter burst forth, cruel and jagged. Much more than you can comprehend, little dove. But don't fret, answers lie in that envelope. Or perhaps you'd prefer to see all your fears laid bare? What does that even mean? Mia felt the walls closing in, desperation clawing at her throat. Fear, my dear. Fear can reveal everything, even that which is buried deep, perhaps something you'd wish you'd never known. Mia pulled back, her mind racing. If they opened the envelope, what horrors would it unearth? What shadows were lurking in Robert's past? Was it worth it? Choose now, the intruder taunted, practically gleeful. Your time is slipping away. As panic surged, she reached for the envelope, but Robert caught her hand. Mia, don't, but it was too late. With a swift motion, the intruder pulled a knife from his coat, gleaming ominously in the flickering light. Choose, or lose it all. A gasp escaped Mia's lips as Robert stepped in front of her, taking a deep breath. If it comes to that, I'll protect you. The intruder raised an eyebrow, a smirk stretching across his face. Your brave knight in a world of sinister shadows. But tell me, Robert, what price is he willing to pay? Mia felt the ground give way beneath her, their worlds beginning to fracture. How deep did Robert's secrets run? How far would he go to shield her? The clock ticked ominously, each second slicing through the silence, injecting more dread. What was the truth that danced just beyond their reach? And as the blade glinted one final time, she realized they were spiraling into a nightmare with no clear escape. What awaited them in the dark depths of that envelope, or was choosing nothing the deadliest gamble of all? The intruder's knife caught the light again, a grim flash that jolted the air around them. The ticking clock now echoed like a drummer, each beat mixing with Mia's racing heart. The weight of time pressed down, heavy and suffocating. Mia, listen to me. Robert's voice wavered, but his determination cut through the chaos. I've made terrible choices, but this isn't your burden. You need to step back. No! Mia felt a surge of defiance. We are in this together, Robert. Whatever you've done, we can face it. Can you? The intruder stepped closer, confidence radiating off him. Can you truly bear the truth that lies in the envelope? Or would ignorance be a sweeter poison? Mia swallowed hard, uncertainty gnawing at her mind. What are you not telling me, Robert? What's in there? Robert shook his head, despair visibly crashing over him like waves against a cliff. It's complicated. I thought I could handle it. I thought it was buried. The intruder chuckled, and it sounded like broken glass shattering against stone. Buried? Oh, dear boy, what's buried never truly stays hidden. It's merely waiting for the right moment to resurface. He gestured dramatically at the envelope, a sinister invitation. Just think the horror of unearthing it could pale in comparison to the reality lurking outside those sealed edges. Enough! Mia shouted, echoing her rage and fear. Stop toying with us and tell us what you want. The intruder laughed again, dark and rich, as if they were not objects of his thrill but mere puppets in an elaborate play. What I want? It's simple. I want you to choose. Will you face the monster you fear? Or accept the truth of Robert's sins, whatever they may be? Mia's stomach twisted. You want us to break ourselves apart, expose our deepest terrors to what end? She could feel a cold sweat gathering on her brow, a palpable fear rooting deeper. Because, my dear, he replied, lowering his voice as if sharing a thrilling secret, when you strip away the layers of comfort, that's when the real truth blooms. And the truth is rarely pretty. His eyes sparkled with an unsettling glee, like a child waiting for a surprise present. Robert's breathing quickened, fear radiating off him in waves. Mia, no matter what's in that envelope, I swear I'll keep you safe. Just give me time to think. We can find another way. Time? The intruder leaned in closer, a predator savoring the scent of the hunted. Time is a luxury you've already squandered. Every pulse of that clock steals your options away. Simple, isn't it? Mia felt trapped in a storm. She couldn't succumb to the creeping dread clawing at her insides. You're lying, she shouted. We can find a way out of this. Lies and truth are but two sides of the same coin, my dear, he crooned, the knife still gleaming hypnotically in his grasp. In this game of shadows, every choice seals your fate. Open the envelope, or I'll reveal the depths of your fears, no curtain left to pull back. The room felt smaller, walls squeezing her as the tension suffocated them both. Her eyes darted to the clock, counting down steadily, obsessively, tick, tick, tick. In that moment, Robert pulled her closer, a fierce grip around her waist. Whatever happens, Mia, I won't let you go. We're in this together, remember? Would revealing Robert's hidden past bring them closer or tear them apart? Would the truth set them free, or bury them deeper in despair? As the seconds ticked down, Mia realized she stood at the edge of a chasm. The choice ahead felt monumental. She could either pierce the veil of darkness and pull Robert and herself back towards the light, or let the shadows swallow them whole. Her hand hovered over the envelope, trembling. What claws of darkness awaited her? What truths were worth fighting for, if any at all? And in that fleeting moment of clarity, the air thickened with unspoken words, weighing down on her. What new horrors awaited them in the flicker of truth, and were they ready to confront what lay ahead together? Just as she reached for the envelope, the intruder's voice rang out sharply, "Choose wisely, darling, or you might not like the game we play next." Mia hesitated, her hand quivering over the envelope. The very idea of ripping it open sent icy tendrils of dread snaking through her spine. The intruder's knife glinted with every tick of the clock, that relentless sound marking their fate like the heartbeat of a dying animal. "Mia, please." Robert's voice was barely a whisper now, strained, as if each word cost him dearly. "Don't do this." But the intruder chuckled, his eyes narrowing with excitement. "What is it going to be, lovebirds? Embrace the truth, or watch your whole world unravel?" The tension shifted, crackling in the air like electricity. Mia felt the weight of the intruder's gaze, a cold squeeze around her throat. Could ignorance truly be a sweeter poison? Time's ticking, he taunted, edging closer, the scent of danger swirling around him. As time ticked away, Mia was hit by a wave of clarity. The truth was terrifying, but what lay beyond was unfathomable horror. She thought of Robert's face, that hint of desperation, and knew their only chance at survival rested in her hands. With a sharp inhale, she made up her mind and ripped open the envelope. The paper crumpled as it surrendered its secrets. Inside was a stack of photographs, black and white, mundane scenes of everyday life interwoven with shadowy figures lurking in the background. "Just take a look." The intruder's voice slithered over her, slick and dark. "You'll find them familiar." Mia flicked through the photos, friends laughing, a birthday party, family gatherings. But there, lurking behind the edges of one photo, she spotted a familiar face, an innocent smile that twisted into something grotesque. Her heart raced. Why are you doing this?" she gasped, her voice still trembling. There was a knot of dread tightening in her stomach, twisting tighter as she scanned the images. "Because, darling," he drawled, as if savoring the moment, "this is your past too. Each face represents a thread in the tapestry of Robert's life. Every interaction, every lie leads to today. You might want to hold on to your heart now." Robert's breath caught. "Mia, I didn't know. I swear." But before she could speak, the intruder pressed on, a malevolent glint in his eye. "Isn't it exciting to realize that every moment you thought was yours is stained with Robert's secrets? Choose wisely, confront him or let the truth fade, forever lurking in the dark." The tension skyrocketed, a thick fog of fear curling around them. Mia's head spun. She gasped, vision blurring, uncertainty clawed at her insides. The photographs felt like a ticking time bomb, each snap a countdown to revelations that could shatter everything. "What's worse?" the intruder pressed. "Facing the truth or unraveling the lies that got you here? Because either way, someone will bleed." Mia clenched the envelope, indecision gripping her. "Mia! Don't believe him!" Robert's voice was frantic now, desperate, pleading as if he were standing on the precipice of losing everything. "I can explain." But his words fell away against the weight of the intruder's sinister smile. The jagged edge of the knife seemed to flare as if it could leap at any moment. Suddenly, the clock stopped. Silence enveloped them like a heavy fog. "Mia, don't get swept away," Robert warned, his eyes wide. Then, without warning, the intruder's laugh cut through the silence, sharp and menacing. "Let us see how deep the rabbit hole goes." Before Mia could protest, the intruder lunged forward, and a scream clawed its way from her throat, echoing in the suffocating air, as darkness swallowed them whole. What secrets lay trapped in those photographs? And was there still time for Mia and Robert to unravel the truth before it consumed them? The knife glinted ominously, and the pressure escalated in the confines of the room, Mia staggered backward, heart pounding as shadows danced in her vision. The world blurred around her, a whirl of panic and confusion. The laughter of the intruder echoed like a taunt, cruel and twisting. Robert moved to shield her, his wide stance like a desperate fortress. "Get out of here, Mia! Now!" His voice crackled with urgency, every syllable weighted with a protective fear. But the intruder just smiled wider, a predator toying with its prey. "Oh, it's too late for escape, my dear. The truth is here, whether you like it or not." Mia's pulse raced as she glanced at the photographs scattered on the floor. Each image screamed of forgotten memories, moments captured, but never shared. The familiar faces now felt like ghosts, lurking with chilling intent. One photograph in particular held her gaze, a snapshot of her childhood birthday party, her joyful smile leaping from the paper, while in the background, a shadowy figure loomed menacingly. "Who is he?" she whispered, voice trembling as the question hung in the air, thick and oppressive. "That," the intruder replied, his voice dripping with delight, "is your past colliding with Robert S. You brought each other together, and yet, you've been apart for so long." The realization tore through her, raw and bitter. She looked back at Robert, desperation pooling in her throat. "What don't I know, Robert? What are they hiding?" He shook his head, eyes dark with despair. "I swear, Mia, I didn't know any of this. I didn't enough." The intruder intervened, voice slicing with authority. "She deserves to know everything if she has to survive. You see, lovebirds, the knife isn't just for show. This is a game, and one of you must lose. The truth would be more merciful than the secrets festering here." Mia felt bile rise in her throat. "What do you want from us?" The intruder flashed a smile like a cold blade. "More than you could possibly understand. The delicate balance of lives intertwined, their threads woven into a fabric so frayed you'll wish you never tugged." She shoved the envelope into her pocket, clenching it like a lifeline. "I can face this. I will." "Will you?" His laughter sent shivers down her spine. "You're merely a pawn, Mia. The secrets hold more power than you can grasp. You can choose to reveal them, but then you will face a reckoning." Robert squeezed her arms, his touch grounding her amidst the storm. "Mia, think. We don't know what we're dealing with." "Or who," Mia added, glancing over her shoulder. The air shifted, something sinister thrummed just beyond the walls of this room. "Choose," the intruder urged, his voice a dangerous whisper that curled around them like smoke. "Reveal the truth and uncover your fate, or let it bury you alive." Mia's mind raced. What did she know about Robert's past? What horrifying truths lay hidden beneath layers of deception, ready to unravel before her very eyes? A crash resounded behind them. The door flew open, splintering as the shadows seeped in like a wave. Figures stepped forward, desperate police, naive to the true chaos inside. The intruder's smile morphed into a snarl. "Now let us witness the beauty of chaos." In a heartbeat he lunged, knife gleaming menacingly, slicing through the air, aimed at them both. "Mia!" Robert shouted as time slowed, the world distorting around her. Would their choice save them, or pull them deeper into a darkness none could escape? As panic and adrenaline surged, the intruder's grin echoed in her mind like a haunting refrain. "The truth will haunt you forever." What awaited them in the tangled mess of secrets? And could they decipher which ones were worth facing before it was too late? Mia's breath hitched as chaos erupted around them. The intruder lunged with the knife, a flash of silver aimed at Robert's heart. Instinct propelled Mia forward, her body a desperate shield between love and annihilation. "No!" she screamed, her voice raw with urgency. The blade grazed her arm, pain searing through her like wildfire. But in that instant, adrenaline fueled her resolve. She felt the weight of the envelope pressing against her side, a reminder of the secrets clawing for release. Robert roared, his fierce presence mobilizing. "Get away from her!" He pushed against the intruder, muscles coiling with purpose, anger igniting in his eyes like the embers of a dying fire. They spiraled into a chaotic grapple, but Mia didn't wait to see who would win. She scrambled for the photos scattered on the floor, understanding ignited, fierce and clear. The faces from her past, each one a spectral reminder of connections long lost, all tied to Robert. They weren't just snapshots, they were a manifestation of their intertwined destinies. It was all tied together in a big, tangled web. The intruder's laughter rang out hollowly above the chaos, fueled by dark delight. "No!" Mia shouted again, fury drilling into her veins. "This stops now." She clutched a photograph of her younger self, illuminated by the warm glow of her birthday cake, neighbors smiling, laughter ringing out, but in the corner, that shadow loomed. It was all coming together. "You want the truth?" she yelled, voice rising in fervor, catching Robert's attention. "Then let us face it together." In one swift motion, she ripped the envelope open, scattering its contents across the floor as the intruder stumbled back, shocked. Photographs flew like ghosts released from their frames. Each snapshot revealed more overlapping memories: children laughing at a playground, heads bent in secretive conversations, silhouettes hidden behind trees, shadowy figures watching. Her heart raced faster. Secrets were thrumming alive, desperate for the light. Mia could feel Robert's gaze on her. "You don't have to do this," he pleaded, eyes darkening with concern. "You don't need to expose yourself to him." But her determination was unwavering. This was their last chance. "Together!" she shouted, her voice resolute. "Whatever this darkness is, we face it together." She turned back to the intruder, defiance rolling off her in waves. "And you think you can tear us apart?" "No. We choose each other." The intruder's sneer turned into bewilderment. "You think this is something you can control?" He spat, venom dripping from each word. But Mia's mind was clear. She faced the collected photographs, absorbing their meanings, the connections that intertwined their fates. "No more lies, Robert! I want the truth." With shaking hands, she lifted the favorite photo of her childhood and thrust it towards the intruder like a dagger aimed at his heart. The air was electric with her challenge. "You want to play? Fine. But we decide what secrets emerge. You don't have power over us anymore." Something shifted in the room, like the very walls closing in on the intruder. Fear flickered in his eyes, vulnerability cracking his facade. "Fate is in your hands, isn't it?" he muttered, voice suddenly cold. "Think clearly. The truth may not be what you hope it to be." "Truth!" Mia got up, adrenaline surging. "Tell us what we need to know." Before he could respond, shouting erupted from outside. Law enforcement had finally arrived, sirens wailing, demanding chaos yield to law. The intruder froze, weighing his options. The facade of control slipped, and with one quick motion, he turned on his heel. "You're open to the truths you seek. But be careful, my sweet." Those words melted into the tension before the door burst open, officers charging into the room with blinding flashlights. But as light flooded in, Mia felt the weight of their harsh realities. The intruder escaped into the depths of the shadows, slipping like smoke as the cops swarmed the penthouse. "Mia!" Robert breathed, his eyes wild with urgency. "We need to talk. Now." As officers navigated through the scene, Robert grasped Mia's shoulders tightly, urgency pulsing between them. "You were right. There are things I buried, things I thought I could shield you from." Her heart raced as she steadied herself against him. "No more secrets." The tension between them abated for a moment, as the flashing lights danced around them, drowning the echoes of the intruder's laughter. "Yes," Robert murmured. "But with each choice we made for ourselves, we tread dangerous waters. I never wanted to draw you in. But I chose you," she protested, voice unwavering. "Whatever it takes together." As they stood against the backdrop of a bruised skyline, the remainder of the photographs lay forlorn on the floor, waiting for truth to collide with reality. "Together," Robert whispered, hope filtering through their turbulent shadows. "No matter what wild truths await us." Outside, the sirens faded, doors slamming behind the chaos, leaving the echoes of horror mingled with uncertainty. Together, they faced the dawning light of a city brimming with shadows and promise. The world outside seemed to breathe again, the fight not yet over, but their hearts daring a flicker of hope. They would bear the weight of the storm, but they would do it side by side. And as they left the remnants of their haunted history behind, Mia felt the future stretching before them, fragile but persistent. They would face it together, come what may. No darkness could sever the bond they forged in that hazy penthouse. No more secrets. Only truth and the spark of possibility. Just as they stepped through the door, one last beat of laughter echoed faintly from the shadows of the hallway, but Mia didn't look back. She was ready to face whatever came next with Robert by her side. Now it was their turn to reclaim the narrative of their lives and weave a story not of fear but of love and resilience. You need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive stories that keep you on the edge of your seat. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support for tales that unravel mystery. Flourish the comments section with your reactions and theories about Mia and Robert as shocking journey. What do you think lies ahead for them? And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who love a good twist. The truth is just beginning, and we're in this together.